In 2025, over 25 million adults aged 35 and under were reportedly living with their parents. And guys, like any survey, consensus, set of statistics, quantified list, reporting or numbers is based on scale. It's based on people who had the ability and who had the knowledge of such reporting. So although there's 25 million reported, there could actually be much more. There could be another 10 to 25% that are actually living with their parents, as far as working adults at or under the age of 35, that actually isn't shown in the statistic. So just want to give that purview, because I know a lot of people run with information thinking that it can't be skewed, and obviously the numbers showing an increase, it points towards a more downward trend on the family building, or at least the dynamic building on what it is to, set roots and grow in the economy within the United States. So not only are people not having children, or not only are people, are at least pushing the age of having children, getting married, building an immediate family dynamic. These same people who are pushing off efforts of starting their own family are going back to move with their parents. After being removed 10, 15, 20 years, because that's what you do in the States. You get on your own, 17, 18, 19, to go to college, you graduate, you're supposed to get a job, whether you're single or you find yourself in a relationship or you start having children, you climb your ladder while you're at school or after school, and then you kind of build on your own. Your parents are to be more of an emotional or moral support rather than a financial, and now that has changed, and there's no fault, in my opinion, there's no fault on the individual who is attempting to do the right things, who are looking for multiple ways to make income, who are not having children, who are not looking for a long-term relationship, who are not looking, or who can't afford to buy a house, because all that's a liability.
All right.
See you, buddy. All right. But this isn't no fault to the individuals who are attempting and trying to build, who are making some of those sacrifices. This is an economic fault. This is our government. This is our local legislation. This is the hedge fund owners. This is the bureaucracy and the diplomacy of our federal established leaders, who are not taking into consideration what the lower class, and especially the middle class, is having to go through on a day-to-day. So this number is interesting because it has outpaced, and this is of 2025. So two things. Not only has it outpaced the stats of COVID, where businesses were shut down, where people who couldn't work remote lost their jobs, where people who were getting sick, they had to move into more of a community or village setting so other people can help them financially, emotionally, right, physically. This is now outpacing. 2025 has outpaced COVID, especially in its peak. So what more with 2026 and onward? Again, the numbers of 25 million doesn't denote everybody actually living within this statistic. It shows that this problem can be indefinite unless a lot of change happens. That's wage gaps decreasing, right? That's inflation somewhat slowing down. Wages have been being outpaced by inflation, and it's gonna keep getting worse for the fellow Americans who are looking to pivot. We can't even build wealth, like, right? The average American can't currently build wealth because we're trying to figure out day-to-day survival. You're essentially at a net loss. So now we're living check to check, and now it's to the point where we can't even live check to check. We can't even afford overhead, so now we have to live with our parents who are looking to retire, if not retired. So now there's a burden in our family dynamic that we, have been trying to alleviate when we go on our own. So now it interrupts our parents, right, or any of the guardians, aunts, uncles, grandparents even, who's attempting to retire, or has retired and now has taken on another liability. Now they're your kids, so the more, if you're in a relationship with a parent or a set of parents or set of guardians who understand, then it's more copacetic, it's more kosher, it's more of a loving environment. But there's a lot of parents who are betting on the success of their children because they poured into their children in their teens and early 20s. And now it's hard to really see the reward of your pour, whether it's investments or financial pouring, social, obviously educational, and physical, emotional. So it's a hard toll. The picture that's being painted here is a downward trend.